Hi folks, today we're going to we're going to try curing the AC compressor not coming on. I double checked. I have I think about 35-40 pounds on the system, easy, a little more, so that's not it. Next check is going to be the minimum pressure switch to see if that's it.
Here I put elevator clips on one leg of the switch. And here I'm going to put the second one on it. That jumps that switch. And the compressor clutch is not going. So that switch, system pressure is there. Now we need to go to the check out the basics, and that is on the FEMA relay here. Terminal 1 and 5, which is that one in the upper corner is 1, and this is 5 right there. We need, that should be 12 volts. Bridge. We have 12 volt there. Alright. Next step. 5 to 10 supplies voltage to that pressure switch there, and I'm gonna leave that be for the time being. I'm gonna go down the troubleshooting manual. So the next check, what we're gonna do is we need a jumper wire that goes from number 7, which is the one right there in the dead center. That one right there. Between 5 and 7. We're supposed to run that one. I'm gonna put jumper. Aha! My clutch works. That's interesting. So that one we got. With the engine off, jump out of there. Between 9 and 11, I'm supposed to have 562. Hold on. Let me read that again. Oh, God. 530 to 650 ohms. And voila, I don't have that. So, next thing is I'm gonna have to replace the resistor, the speed sensor. Fun. Let me see if I have another old compressor where I can verify this, and I'll be back. Well. In my assortment of used and abused parts, I have an old compressor. In fact, that was the old one that came out of my other SDA. Let's see if we are looking out, which would be kind of cool to see if the speed sensor is still on there. And heaven forbid if it actually should be okay. Check that out. Wow. That goes over here. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out which terminal they are on. This one was one that bit the dust way back when. Let's see. God. We're just gonna. There it is. That's terminal. Oh God, I can barely read this darn bloody thing. Terminal. One, 2, and 3. Oh, I believe 3 is the clutch. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and put the probe on there to see how many ohms resistance that has got. That's not good. This has 830, and that's kilo, no, that's 0.8, so 830 ohms, which now is too much. Well, crud. The only other thing I'd like to see is, and that might already be the reason why this is not, why is this halfway open here? That's odd. There you go. Which also means I'm gonna have to evacuate the system because this bloody thing, this opens up straight to atmosphere. Well, crud. Bloody heck. Alright. I might, we'll see. But that's definitely not good. That's definitely not good. 830. Yeah, that rubbed. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to get either a new compressor, which I really didn't want to get into, but at least I have an exchange unit sitting here. And while the clutch for the compressor is one thing, the other thing I measured was this gizmo right here. This connection up here is the speed sensor, the crankshaft speed sensor. I went on a website, I think it was PartsGeek, and they claimed that this would fit the 300 SDA, and when I got it, I realized, yeah, that's for the gas engines. If you ever need another extra crankshaft position sensor for a gas engine,
I know for a fact that that's the one for the, at least I know for a fact that it fits the V8s, but not this one. So I went a little bit ahead and said, it's like, hey, you know, if I'm messing around with a compressor and I need to evacuate the system, do all of that, before I do that, let's make sure that the crankshaft sensor has the correct resistance, and then also the correct value back here in terms of voltage. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I loosened this up to at least check on the resistance. I'll be right back with values. All right, I'm gonna connect my ohm meter to it. Alligator clips. Let's see what we got. This is a VDO. This is a VDO one, and I'm supposed to have 1.9 ohms, plus minus 0.1 for VDO. That's 1.8 kilo ohms. And even if this was a one for a Behr, that one is supposed to have 530 plus minus 60 ohms. I'm nowhere close. So that's not good. That makes no sense, right? Yeah, 1.8 kilo ohms. And when I measured voltage between pin 1 and 2 in DC current, I'm supposed to have 8.5 volts, and I had 6. So that's not good either. I'm going to look at the sensor next to see if there's anything odd there, but then I'm just going to reconnect everything, and I think I know what I'm going to do here. That is where the crankshaft sensor is. You need that's an M6, so you need a 5mm Allen wrench. I already did it. Sorry folks. I took it out and there was definitely some interesting stuff stuck to it. That's magnetic, and that usually never fares well in offsetting the values. But I'm not really hopeful that that's going to do anything. But I'm going to reconnect everything. I'm going to crank up the car, and then I'm going to see if that was it, and if this sensor, the RPM meter, actually works. So there's nothing wrong there in terms of the rest of the instrumentation, so I have no reason to monkey around anything else. So I will share a thought with you, and then I'm going to validate it if that's going to work, because there are a couple of issues with it. But to get the correct sensor is going to take a while and costs a bloomin' fortune. I have yet to find a suitable one for the 300 SDA that isn't costing plus 300, 500 bucks. And the same goes for, of course, the compressor. I've got 6 volts on there, DC. Nowhere close to the 8.5. So, but yet instrumentation, RPM, everything else works. I think I'm going to do another trick. Alright, I do have the correct voltage on pin 10, which is it is a ground one that goes from right here, the pressure switch, but it comes from the climate control unit. So if you hit AC and it's max on 10, I should have my full ground, which I do have. So let's just make sure that that's correct. Which right now with the engine off, I don't have it, but I have the voltage. I have full 12 volt between those 2 pins. And that is number 5 and 10. I have 12 volts on, and when I switch the climate control unit off. So that's a good thing to know, because I have enough information now to create a patch with an additional relay, and I just need to figure out how I will be able to get in there, because there's, as you can see, there's not an awful lot of room down in there, but I think I have a good idea of where I will be able to tie in, so this is not going to be too disruptive and safe to drive, and I'll share that with you in a moment once I have it. Alright folks, so what I have done, and this is just one last test wire that I wanted to verify what kind of voltage I had on one of the wires. Anyhow, I installed a simple 12 volt relay. You can see, whoops, right here. Let's see. Alright. So the coil is the 8586 plus minus, and it's normally open, which means the 87 and the 30 make the contact to the clutch. Anyway, I use this, and I use a fuse holder with the 2 amp fuse. I brought power off of the relay here. I know that there's a constant permanent plus right there. Put the fuse holder there, made that connection here to the blue-green wire, because that one is coming from the compressor relay, the Klima relay. Cut this. This is the clutch wire. So this one is getting power now through the relay rather than through the Klima relay. And I'm picking up from the safety, because the trigger point right there, the red wire, the new one, that is picking up the signal coming from the other one right there. That is coming from the climate control unit, and it's ground. So this one, once I have enough pressure in the system, this one jumps from one side to the other, makes contact, goes through the relay, and if I have the trigger, this one here, pull the coil in, this one makes contact and bridges plus from here over to the blue wire to the clutch, and voila, my compressor clutch is finally working. And I verified that the climate control now operates the clutch as usual. Drawback, and yes, guys, I know, should have done this the right way, but it would have involved new compressor, bleeding the system, getting another, just to play it safe, another really good crankshaft sensor, and most likely a new climate control. You know what this costs. I don't have another $2,000 just in parts lying around. So this is going to be it, and you can see the condensation is happening here. Yup, the system is working. I see the in that little window here, my freon and oil are flowing. So I finally have air conditioning. What's the bad news? Bad news is that the climate relay has a couple of other functions, because if the engine is too hot, it shuts down the air compressor because it's an extra load on the engine. Can live with that. And then there is this switch down here. Let's see. Down there, that's the throttle position sensor. If that is in full load, it's same thing. It actually disengages the compressor just so that the kick down can come in temporarily. So
those are the things that can happen, meaning there's going to be some extra load on the engine. I will easily take the risk of that. I'm going to go ahead and seal this all up nicely, zip tie things together, and slowly but surely I'll get the correct parts to put this back in, so that I'm not clipping anything, adding anything or reversing. I'm not doing anything where I cannot reverse what I've done so far. Here you can see nice sweat building, and I have confirmed air conditioning is working just fine. So, all right, I can also briefly show this, the concept on what I've done on the wiring diagram, so stick around for that. All right, here's what that looks like after I've cleaned up the wiring, insulated everything, zip tied wherever. I'm not worried about that contact sitting there open. This is ground, so it won't really do anything. Relay, I used a small little screw here, bolting that right on there. Here's the 2M fuse connected to plus, all running. And now I can show you what I did. Yeah, let's get into that. Takes a while. Sorry for the back and forth. So, essentially, this is the wiring diagram for a 1986 300 SDL. They pretty much work the same way on all of them, but they have nuances. They have a couple of differences here and there. But in essence, what I've done is I've taken this relay here, and the yellow one is useless. That's the normally close contact, so you clip that one insulated. But you take, and that's the 2 amp fuse in here, 2 amp. So that's the fuse holder. You get that cheap from Amazon. Here's a whole bag full of different amperatures, but certainly if the clutch burns up or something else is happening, I don't want to go ahead and find out the hard way. I want for that to be protection. So I take the plus side, and I can power the circuit. Once the relay gets triggered, this contact closes and I have plus going over to my clutch. I disconnected it right here. That's the blue-green wire. So I made that connection here. So if this closes, that clutch will automatically engage. The coil pulling in needs power, so I actually put a jumper between 30 and 86. That gets me power to here. Now I need negative, and the negative ground I'm gonna get from my trigger that is supposed to come in from that terminal 10 that we looked at first, where I only get like 5 volts. That's the whole reason why nothing triggers even in the Klima relay. So this is most likely right here the control unit that's faulty, because everything else works. So this is definitely not right as far as the voltage coming from here, or there might be a ground fault, but I have not found a fault ground or a like any other loose wire or anything there. So I made that connection, as you might have seen, from the low refrigerant pressure switch, the S31. On the closed side, if it's closed, it has enough pressure. There's the other safety I want. I don't want to burn up the compressor if there's not enough pressure on the system. So the safety is in place. You need to scan for which side of that switch is the one that is supposed to get the power, and you connect that. That's the trigger here, because once this does trigger, I can finally, this goes to here, goes through here with its voltage. I get my ground, and the ground is pulling this one in. And that is what makes this work. If you have any questions, drop me a note. I know the purists are going to be saying it's like, Ralph, you're nuts. Yes, I am. On the other hand, this versus $2,000 plus a lot of waiting time, and I need to get this thing on the road. And as I get more stuff in, I can change more and put it back into original condition, which I didn't do anything that would prevent me from doing that. Thank you for watching. I know this is a long one, but I'm thinking a lot of you guys are probably struggling with the AC compressor not coming on. So here's a way of getting it going. You have to be careful with the ramifications because right here the compressor cutout for the temp with the temp wide open throttle does not work that way. And what is going to work still is the temp switch actuating the fans. That's the whole reason why I didn't want to monkey with the rest of it. Everything else works the way it's supposed to, except the kickdown switch and the compressor cutout with the compressor wide open. That one most likely is not going to kick out the compressor anymore. All the other stuff works though. All right. Thanks for watching.